All right, guys, welcome in to the first episode of Franchise Masters. I'm Sleeves, he is Thrash, and we have decided to bring you the year. Well, I do this yearly, but I thought that it might be better to have some competition this year because, you know, NHL, the intrigue kind of dies. You kind of got to get creative with things. So we are going to go over Franchise Masters, what it is, the challenges that we're going to put into the game, and just have some fun. Thrash, you excited?
I am, and we do have a little bit of a challenge going on, so makes things a little bit more exciting.
I agree. All right, so here are the basics, guys. Obviously, it's going to revolve all around franchise mode. We're going to give you the brief overview. Essentially, the goal is to win a Stanley Cup with all 32 franchises in the first 5 years. If you don't win in the first 5 years, you get deemed, there's a point system, and we'll explain in just a little bit. So, obviously, there is no playing. This is going to be completely simmed. We can make trades. Again, there's specific challenges we're going to go after. But every week, what we're going to do is we're going to do one of these videos to update you, tell you where we are in our challenge and our personal battle that we have. But we also make sure in the comment section of my videos, as well as Thrash's, he's going to be posting the videos of his runs with each franchise. Make sure you let us know if you were playing along, and we're going to go over all the rules. But first, let's set up what the challenge is. Basically, here is how the point system will work. If you win, the reason why it's called Franchise Masters, have to give a shout out to Crash Andrews and Deke Slayer. They came up with this idea, I think, in NHL 20, maybe? But essentially, the reason why it's called Franchise Masters, just like the Masters in golf, the scoring will mimic that. If you win in year one, you get the best score. That is 1. The goal is to have the lowest score after 32 teams. So, Thrash, well, you're not going to win any. So, if you do not win in the first if you do not win in the first 5 years, you will get 6 points, the highest that you can get for each team, and then you've got to move on. Now, if you win the Stanley Cup in the first year, that's 1. If you win it in the second year, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so forth. And obviously, it builds up pretty quickly if you have a couple teams where you don't win the cup. So, it gets pretty intense, and again, this is a full sim. There is no playing the actual games. This is going to be a full sim. Are you confident that you're going to be able to do this?
Yes, easily.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. Last year, it was a struggle for me. The year prior, I did pretty good. And, of course, we know EA's franchise mode. You want to get President's Trophy because that guarantees you the Stanley Cup. So let's go over some of the specifics that we are going to do in terms of just the rules for it. So what we're going to do is I've got a franchise mode set up here, and me and Thrash have gone through it. We're going to set up a franchise so that you guys, if you want to play along, or at least you know while watching the series, what to expect and how to set up the franchise mode so that it is across the board. We are not using any custom rosters. We are going to use whatever EA's got for us. The reason why we don't want to use custom rosters is you kind of know what the draft classes are, things like that. This is going to keep it a lot more random and, you know, a little bit harder for us. So we're going to choose Classic, and we're going to go through just all, this is all going to be basic. And we've got some pretty fun things planned in terms of additional challenges. I'm going to use the San Jose Sharks for this video. Continue, divisional realignment's the same. Now for career, you want to turn off owner mode, salary cap mode, as well as player morale. CPU trades are on, and then auto staff management, you said on, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we're going to turn off head coach edits lines. To be honest, you can leave that on. That's really not going to make it any better or worse. It just depends if you want more power over it. So, continue on. And then in the overview, go to rules and settings. And I believe the only one, if we go through here, injuries, they need to be off. The reason for this is that it adds way too much randomness in and just makes it even more difficult to the point where it just could be a little bit not even fun in my opinion. So we're going to turn injuries off for this challenge. Everything else stays exactly the same as we've got on default. I'm just double checking here. The scouting as well. If you want to scout, you can, right? If you want to scout?
Yeah. If you want to, you can, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to. And then, but I'm, for the most part, because we've got to do 32, I'm going to leave it on auto because, well, it's just going to be a lot more work doing that. I believe all the other advanced settings we set are basically all good to go here. So the only one really is excuse me, is injuries being off. So we'll go ahead and gameplay sliders, those are fine. And yeah, let's get into it because there is some rules. There is one rule change that we want to make, but we'll start the career. And we'll go into the rules here of what happens and what you want to do for each year. So the one thing I will say is that if you want to play and watch the games, because we will be live streaming this essentially. If you want to watch the games, first of all, you can catch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/NoC12, twitch.tv/Thrash94Gaming. we are going to be live streaming our runs, but we're going to do very condensed versions so that you guys all have it on YouTube every week for you. And that will include a nice little edit of like the challenge and whatnot. So if you go over to settings once you're in here, just make sure you want to watch it on broadcast mode. Again, you can't control it, so don't do that. Go to rules though, and just change the penalty scaling. We'll change penalties down to 2 out of 4, so it's 50%, so there's not a ton of penalties. And then down at the bottom here, you will see penalties time scaling. Make that 2, so that if you actually, a penalty is actually called while you're watching the game, it's not like 6 minutes real life, because that just kind of kills the authenticity of it when you're trying to play a sim game. Other than that, everything's good to go, and we're all set. So now, let's discuss some of the challenges that we did come up with. We're going to have a wheel that spins, and yeah, so we came up with 5 challenges. One of them is no challenges, so I guess we came up with 4. Let's talk about this. I want you to tell me what one you think is the most difficult. So
most difficult?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So the no pick trades, meaning that you cannot trade picks at all during your 5-year run with the first franchise that we're gonna spin for here. I think that one's pretty tough, because if your team doesn't have a lot of assets, like, it's going to be very difficult. I do need to mention, I guess I forgot that I'm bad at starting this off. So, you cannot trade picks other than the current year. Okay, so if you are starting your first year, you can trade your first round pick of that year, of your first however many picks. If your team that you're using doesn't have a first round pick this year, I believe Chicago doesn't, that, like, you're out of luck for Chicago that first year. You can't trade. The reason for that is because you could just go get Connor McDavid by trading the next 5 first round picks, and that's just not, that's kind of dumb, and we want to keep this a little bit more difficult. So next year, once you load into next year, if you don't win the cup, you can then go ahead and trade the pick for that current year. Keeps it a little bit difficult, but one of the challenges that we're gonna have is that no picks are being traded if the wheel does deem that is what our challenge is. The next one, keep the worst contract. Now this is going to be different and kind of hard to pinpoint for each one, but every time we do a wheel spin and we get the team that we're going to do, we'll talk about it. So you talk about the Red Wings, so for an example, because yours, I think that's a little bit unique.
Yeah, the problem is with the Detroit Red Wings, I think the worst contract at the moment would be Danny DeKeyser. I think everyone could agree with that. That being said, his contract's pretty much up. Yeah. So when we do jump into the franchise, we would have 4 years without Danny DeKeyser. Whereas right now, Dylan Larkin is making the most money, but he has a higher contract. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to deem that. So when we find out what team we're going to do with the challenge, me and you can go through and determine it. So I use the Sharks as an example. Erik Karlsson's worth $11.5 million for the next 5 years, I believe, which you would deem to probably be the worst. However, as a Sharks fan, honestly, the worst contract on the books is Marc-Edouard Vlasic at $7 million for the next 4. So again, that's where you get into certain teams where it's not so black and white. So we'll make the decision to make sure that it is the worst contract for that team. The next one is the top 3 overall players in terms of player rating you have to keep at the start of the franchise. So if it's an older team and they start falling down in overall, you can't do anything about that. You've got to keep them. If their contract ends, you have to re-sign them. Again, that is just, I think for certain teams, that's going to be really tough. Like, I think for the Oilers, it won't really matter.
Pittsburgh is going to be hard.
Yes, Pittsburgh will be really difficult. This one is going to be awfully tough for the Oilers. Trade the highest valued player. So not the highest overall, but when you go into the trade screen, the highest value. So Connor McDavid is number 1. It's a full trade value. You've got to move him, and that one's going to be very tough for certain players. So what do you think out of those one is the most difficult?
Probably the no picks being moved.
I think that one's
would
tough
be the
too.
hardest one. Yeah.
I think that for some teams that don't have a lot of picks this year, because you're trying to win as quick as possible, is going to be awfully tough. We'll have to wait and see. See, like Arizona, you're going to have to. They have so many picks that you can trade to actually get a roster that first or second year. But if you get Arizona and the no picks and you can't trade the picks, then you've got to actually draft those guys, and that's awfully tough. And then it gets into, do you punt a year to try and win and to try and go into the draft to get some players? It's going to be awfully difficult, but let's go ahead and we will do our first wheel spin to find out which teams we're going to use. Okay, so the first one is the first team, okay? So these are the teams that we're going to run this week. We're going to try and do 2 a week, guys, but you know, for one of them, there's going to be no challenge to it. We're going to be able to pick the team. That's fine, but we want to make one every video or every week where it's like a challenge and the team is picked for us. So, all right, you're going to be first. All right, dude?
Got it.
All right, Thrash's first team in franchise Masters, where he's got to win a cup in the first 5 years, is going to be... I hope it's Detroit.
Please be Detroit. That would be wicked. Oh.
It is the... Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, boy.
The Vancouver Canucks. All right, that actually... I don't think that's as bad because I think they'll sim pretty decent. I feel like they underperformed this year in the real thing.
There's some definite positives to the team.
Yeah, you've got some stuff to work with, I feel. Like moving that OEL contract as long as you're allowed to, because what we are going to do in just a little bit is find our first challenge. All right, so my first team that I am going to use in this series will be... I want an easy one. I want like the light.
Arizona. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. I got the Blue Jackets. Okay, we're in a similar spot.
Couple decent pieces, but...
They have a lot of young players that, like, EA does not like to give potential to. Okay, all right. So we've got the Blue Jackets and the Canucks. We will, no matter what, be doing those teams before next Friday, as we are going to release these on Friday. And then obviously we can do 2 a week. So if we win and we're finished this, we can go on and pick a team of our choosing with no challenges. That being said, we do need a challenge for this week. So here we go. All right, with the Canucks, I mean, keep the top 3 overall. Would that be the worst for you?
No. I think Pedersen, Hughes, like that. Those are pieces you can build.
Is OEL right? One of the higher rated though?
Oh boy.
If you can't move OEL, that's tough.
If he's higher than Besser.
Yeah, that actually... Okay, yeah, you're right. And then the trade highest value...
Horvat, too.
It'd be close. It'll be close. I don't, as a Blue Jacket, I don't know what I actually don't think it matters. Yeah, because I don't think they have any really bad contracts. I'm trying to think. The no-pick trading is probably the worst because they've got 2 first-round picks. They have 2 first-round picks in this draft because of the Blackhawks. So, yeah, that would definitely be the worst for you, the no-pick trades. All right, let's find out. There is also a no-challenge option in here. So if we get lucky and there's no challenge, that would be huge. But let's go. Here we go.
No challenge. Come on.
No, it's not going to be that.
Oh, God.
All right, the top 3 overall keep. I need to see what
I'm hopping in right now.
Yeah, let's hop in here. I need to see what the top 3 are. All right, NHL, we'll go over to the Blue Jackets and see what we're working with. So the 3 highest Blue Jackets... That's what it is. Keep the 3 highest, right?
Yep.
All right. Werenski, Line, and Voracek. Voracek's only 32. Okay. That's not terrible. And technically, Oliver Bjorkstrand is an 85. But we'll consider Voracek higher because it is rated higher here. So that's not terrible for this one.
I am saved. I'm good.
Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look. Let's take a look now at the Vancouver Canucks and see what you're working with. Let's see.
Life is good.
Miller, Hughes, and then you have OEL.
However, check out the goaltending situation.
Bro, I didn't even think. Oh, no, you got saved.
Dang.
That's your Demko. What a bailout, dude. I completely forgot about Tendies. Oh, my God, you got bailed out. Dude, see, they have a good roster.
They do. I could get lucky here.
How did they not make the playoffs in the West or the Pacific being so bad this year? Good Lord. All right, that's not terrible at all. All right, guys. So what is going to happen is next Friday on streams all week long, because I guess we have 10 days here in our first week. We are going to run through the Blue Jackets and the Canucks, and then we are going to do each. I'm going to try and do 2. I don't know if Thrash, if the timing will work out, but we'll at least get one of these done, and then we'll update you guys with our standings. But we definitely want you guys to play along. I know last year when I did this, I had a lot of people in my chat, in my Discord, trying to do the same situation because it is pretty tough to do, and it will be frustrating when you build super teams and you think you've got the cup and you get knocked out in the first round. But it is a full sim. So on Twitch, I think we're going to show like overtime games and we're going to go into the true broadcast mode, things like that. For the YouTube version, to try and not make it so long, I'm going to try and cut down on that and maybe just show you guys the goals. I think Thrash can do the same thing. We're going to try and keep the videos around an hour long if they go over. Maybe if they go under, then you won. But I'm excited, bro. We have to talk about what's on the line here.
Yes, we do. And now I'm currently wearing a Windsor Spitfires hoodie because I am from Windsor and I do follow the hometown team here. Sleeves, on the other hand, is a big Niagara Ice Dogs fan.
Correct.
So
from Niagara.
We figured I figure what would be cool and what would be fun is that well, I would have to buy him a jersey, and he would have to buy me a jersey. The loser will obviously have to buy the jersey.
Yeah.
The thing is, it will have to be from our current team. So I'm a Spitfire fan. Sleeves might be getting a Taylor Hall jersey, or an Adam Henrique jersey, or an Andrei Loktionov jersey.
I don't know about that one. Right? I don't know about that one. I think Taylor Hall might be wrapped up there. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, boy. And on the other hand, I would be receiving an Ice Dogs jersey if somehow I were able to squeeze out a victory here in Franchise Masters.
Bro, I did brutal last year when I tried this. Like, I'm talking like 5 or 6 teams right after Rip where I got 6 points. It is way harder than you guys think with certain teams, and it's very, very frustrating when you get to the Cup Final and you lose. So we are going to keep track of all of that and show you guys the updated version. But yeah, we've got jerseys from our favorite OHL teams on the line, and just bragging rights. You know, we both yeah, exactly. I don't want to lose to you. You don't want to lose to me. So that's what it's all about. And then every Friday, we're going to do an update kind of like this video where we go over everything and what we're at and find out what next week's challenges are. So, guys, stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.